breiten Faust an Lanzenschaft, die Zügel in der linken, so springt des Reiches Ritterschaft und ihre Schwerter blinken. Heya, 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 und ihre Schwerter blinken. Heya, 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 und ihre Schwerter blinken.
Hello and welcome to Lex Orandi, Lex Credendi. I am Kenny and I am bringing up the topic of Ember Days, since this coming week is Ember Week after Pentecost or Whit Sunday. So this coming Wednesday, the 31st. And then Friday the 2nd and Saturday the 3rd are all Ember Days. This is something that I have tried to get better about, and I have only learned about in the last few years. And it pretty much consists of fasting, abstinence, and doing penance, and it follows the seasons. Off the top of my head, I don't know everywhere the Ember Days fall, because I have to use the Missal or the Latin Mass calendar that I have to determine when the Ember Days are. But I know that obviously Pentecost, there's an Ember Week right after Easter, and then there's one right after Christmas, or maybe, yeah, it's right after Christmas. And anyway, this is just one of those things that we as Catholics need to get better about. It's not in the new calendar, so most Catholics don't know about it. And we need to get better about going back to the old calendar to the best of our ability. So obviously, if you're stuck going to a Novus Ordo, or you just go to a Novus Ordo, you need to find a way to celebrate these things, do these acts of penance within the context of the Novus Ordo, again, as best as possible. This, of course, the Ember Days goes along with all of the other traditions, praying the rosary every day, the scapular, praying the traditional prayers, and, doing absolutely no meat throughout the year, basically doing the Fish Friday thing throughout the year, not just during Lent. During Lent, you're actually supposed to fast altogether on Fridays, if memory serves correct. I will probably have to go back and look at that for sure, but another thing that I have not been very good at. But we as Catholics altogether need to start learning about these things and do the best we can to practice it. Now, if you're like me and you're still working on, your ability to fast, then, just try doing a meat abstinence, and, don't drink anything. Don't try to avoid things that you like on those days. Eat plain, good food, but plain food, so that you're at least giving some kind of a sacrifice on those days. And, I think if we can all do this in conjunction with the first Fridays and the first Saturdays, and again, praying the rosary, doing any other chaplets, the Holy Face chaplet, the chaplet to the Sacred Heart, another one of mine that I do every September is the Our Lady of Sorrows rosary or chaplet, where you do a chaplet to the 7 sorrows of Our Lady. I have a personal devotion to Our Lady of Sorrows because that feast day lands on my birthday, and it's also my birth month. So I got a little bit of a double whammy there. And, these things, if you're doing them for the right reasons and not just trying to check them off the list, I mean, you have to actually have the devotion. You actually have to try to do what the church tells you to do for your own spiritual benefit. So yeah, if you're just doing these things and it's, I should be more traditional and so therefore I should just do this. No, you need to do it with fervor. You need to do this with devotion. And that is what is going to help revive the church. And because obviously making things easier in the church has not helped us. So if you don't know anything about the Ember Days, I suggest looking it up. Try to find a traditional missal, or get a traditional calendar, or just find a traditional calendar that you can look at online to figure out when the Ember Days are. I know that I probably should have did a video on the Ember Days a week ahead of time instead of a couple of days ahead of time. So if this is too last minute for you and you're just not going to be able to do the Ember Days, which, I think you could probably do it at last minute, but most people feel that they can't, and I understand that. So get ready for the next coming Ember Days, which, again, I don't know when the next one is, so I'll have to look it up on the calendar, but I am going to try to, every time Ember Days come up, do a video to remind people that it's coming, so that we can start getting better at it, become better Catholics, become better devotees of our Lord Jesus Christ, Our Lady, and the saints. And also just, make your own personal spiritual lives better, your prayer life better. Don't just fast. Don't just abstain. Don't just do penance. Make sure you're praying. If you can find some prayers that you can do, special prayers for the Ember Days, then go ahead and do it. Maybe you can have a penitential devotion that you pray on those days instead of just, going through the motions. Offer up what you're sacrificing to our Lord when you go to Mass, especially if you go to Mass on those days. If not, then the Sunday before Ember Week, or the Sunday of Ember Week, actually, offer up all of your penances and all of your fastings, all of your abstainings, whatever level you're at, whatever you're doing, offer it up as a sacrifice in reparation for the sins committed by Catholics against our Lord, especially in the Eucharist, and the blasphemies against Our Lady, which again ties to the first Fridays and first Saturdays. So if y'all can do that, that would be magnificent. It would be good for you. It would be good for your salvation. And you will be a much better and more loyal and more devoted son of the church if you do it. All right, well, I don't have much more to say on this, so until next time, Deus Vult.